everybody, welcome to Becky's House of Sewing. This is where we talk about all things thread and needle. I have forgotten to say that several weeks in a row. My apologies. So we're here on a Wednesday, actually every Wednesday. I said that last week and I'm just crazy. But in my defense, it's been a week. It's been a busy week. And keeping my people straight. And so, yeah, I just lost my mind, lost my marbles, have no idea what's happening. But that's okay. I have been busy with sewing stuff too, but I've been like kind of obsessed with one piece. So I don't have a ton of whips to talk about, but I do have a couple things to share. And I have some finished objects, which are not cross-stitch, but they are cross-stitch related, adjacent as it were, because they hold my cross-stitch. Could they be bags? Yes, they could. I can't wait to show you. I've also been like obsessed with making bags now, so you're welcome. I think this really kind of stems from, I cleaned up a little bit in my sewing room. It's not 100%, but you can see all the floor. And, you know, my surfaces are pretty clean. I was able to vacuum. I know, crazy idea. My dog, I think, actually wants to be in here. I think she didn't like it because it was a little too busy. Maybe. She still would prefer me to be on the couch so she could be like right next to my side, but she's really cute right now, all curled up. Anyway, and I've gotten through a couple of my totes of fabric and just kind of poked around to see what I have in there and see if I get any inspiration. So I have some things to talk about with that too. So let's start by saying Ron has texted me. Have no fear, he will be here next week. He asked politely for a reprieve. And so I generously gave it to him, as the queen can be generous. No, Ron, we would love to have you again if you're available. But if you're not available, that's okay too. We're anxious to see what you have. So whenever you can fit it in your schedule, let me know. And so we had stitching today. Got to see a lot of my stitchers. Not everybody was there, but had several returns. And then my mom's friend from 7th grade showed up. Her name's Shelly. And I mean, everybody loves Shelly. But she especially comes and connects with my mom this time of year because tomorrow is my parents' 55th wedding anniversary. Golf clap, golf clap. So, and Shelly, you know, knows this more than anyone because she went on their honeymoon. So it's a story for the ages, really. My mom and dad, being the poor newlyweds that they are and had a last minute change in their honeymoon plans, basically needed a car. So they borrowed Shelly's car during the day, and then they had dinner and hung out at, you know, that kind of time frame. I don't think she spent the night. That's my joke. But alas. So it was fun to see Shelly and get to hear those stories again. It's always fun to hear the stories. Tula, you have not been to stitching in a long time. So Tula, let me talk to you. We love you. You're hilarious. You're a great person. And you like all the things we like. We need you to come back and visit at stitching, okay? Just, I know work is busy, blah, 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 family, blah, blah, blah. But I think you need to carve out a Wednesday for us to hang. That's all I'm saying. I think I've made myself clear. All right. Let's start with whips. because I took notes again. So that's the first thing I wrote down. I don't know why. All right, so here is Modern Folk Embroideries M Bell. It's black sampler September. I don't know why I want to say black September sampler. It's not September. I'm sorry. So Jacob is the designer for Modern Folk Embroidery, and he is beloved amongst many. He's got some really interesting charts, and this is an actual reproduction of a sampler that has many things that I like. So it's black, so I get to partake in the black sampler November. Look at me saying it right. Impressive, I know. It's got the alphabet, which I'm in love with that alphabet. I mean, it's just, I love it. I love those top couple of alphabets. I just love it. And it has a Quaker sampler, which this style of motifs, where they're kind of off half, you only see half of the motif, that's a Quaker style sampler. And so I've always loved them. And it's not too large. I didn't bring the chart information on it, but they're not that big even together. So you'll see when I show you my progress from last week. I have literally been obsessed with this. Obsessed with it. So much so that I've had to stitch it at work on my break. And I just haven't brought stitching to work before. I can't stop thinking about it. So I am using, I forgot I had this back here, the Anchor spool of thread. This might look different to you. It's not on a cute ribbon. You might be saying, Becky, but where's that cute ribbon? Mia ate it. So I had the spool of thread on the table out in front of where I normally stitch. And I think I had left a wrapper of a muffin on the table right next to the thread. And I think that's what perked her interest in it. So I came out to hearing a crunch, crunch, crunch sound, and she had chewed up an edge of the spool. It could have been salvageable, I'm sure, but this is $3. So I just got a new thread. And here's a harrowing story. My time of woe in the last week. Like I said, it's been busy. My mother-in-law has been in the hospital. Everything's fine. In all these stories, everyone is fine. There's just a lot of moving parts. And so since she had a pacemaker installed, as it were, and had some AFib issues about 2 weeks ago, she has lost mobility. And so we weren't really understanding, we being my husband and I, weren't really understanding the entire situation of that. We just thought she was kind of recovering from it and not really understanding, no, she really can't move her limbs at all. So when one of the caretakers finally got her standing in the morning, she said she couldn't feel anything on her left side. So stroke symptoms landed her in the hospital, where it has come to the attention that she just needs some rehab. So she's getting rehab, and hopefully it will only be 10 days. But all those steps in between, of course, my husband was on a job, so he was in Poland at the time, and so that was a little blah, everything at once. So the story, I'm getting back to the thread, I swear. So it was Thursday or Friday, and no, Thursday, Friday. It was a day. It was a day of the week that ended in Y. Let's say that. So I discovered the issue, and I decided I'm going to need to get a new one. So I know that Joann's carries them, and I was like, great, I can go to the Joann's near the hospital. It'll be great. I have enough time to do that. There's 2 Joann's in my area. I went to the one that doesn't carry the Anchor floss. They don't carry it. Don't go to Monroe for Anchor floss. You want to go to the South Park. No, you don't want to go to South Park. South Boulevard Joann's near Carolina Place Mall for the Anchor floss. At that point, I was, I got this, and then I stopped at Earth Fair and I got some CBD because Mama needed a little edge removal. So I was giggling because I was like, I have to have floss and I have to have CBD. And it was like 8 o'clock on a Thursday night. What else are you going to do? It's the important things, people. Important things. So yes, so I have restored my Anchor floss, and I assume now you would like to see where I'm at with Belle, with my story. Look how pretty. So as you can see, I've been hopping around a little bit. I got part of the queue done on this side over here. Oh, hold please. So this is the end of it. I kind of wanted to get across all the way. And look how nicely centered. I mean, I still have a little more space on this side, but I'm very pleased with how much room I have. So now I'm going to want to go down all the way. So I don't know which direction I'll go, but I wanted to get all this done. I keep moving it around, sorry. Look how pretty this is. Okay. Isn't that just the coverage? Is it not amazing? All right, so this is, oh gosh, now I don't remember the name of the company. It's SF36. It's 36 count. What is SF? Somebody's yelling it at me. The color is caramel, so it's a little pinky color, which you can't really tell. It's a little mottled. You can see the modeling. It's Anchor floss. We're doing 2/2. And just look at that yummy coverage. Doesn't it look pretty? Is it Seraphim? I'm sorry. I don't remember. Look. So what's cool about this is that and the way he charts it is nice. First of all, the charts is nice and big. But he charts it so that you could do one or the other. You could do both if you wanted to, which is obviously what I have chosen to do. Every time I look at it, I'm like, look how pretty that is. I just love it. All right. So that is what I've been working on. I kind of want to go into a whip story, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to show you my quilt. Because I made big goals. I made big proclamations last time. And promptly did not feel like doing any of them. But I did pull out my quilt, my denim quilt. And I had a thread going on it. Now what I'm using is this little guy, this little cone of Sashiko thread by Cosmo. Let's see. It looks like it's Hibamari number 99, color 301. Did I say 99? I meant 89. Number 89, color 301. And it's a variegated floss. But it looks really nice up against the denim blue. And I don't know if you guys remember, but I had done some other stitches. But this stuff is something that you can use in the printer. It's the Sulky Stick and Stitch. So you can print images right off your printer, and then it washes away after you wash it. So I used some imagery from an embroidery book that I got from People, Places, and Quilts. It's an original design from the owner of People, Places, and Quilts, which is like the best quilt store in the world. So if you ever get to Summerville, South Carolina, highly recommend. It's just fun to be in there. So she's made a lot of, and self-published a lot of books. So do you remember me showing you the yellow bird felt embroidery thing I was working on? I'm looking around to see if I have it handy, but I don't. That is also the same pattern. It's from that same book. So I had most of this little birdie done. Let's see how I can hold it up. That's good. I had most of him done, so I went up here and finished around the beak. And then I stopped, like I want to do more, but I'm in, I can't make a decision. I probably should just kind of pull out another thread and do something that I know is going to be simple, but I want to do some specialty stitches, and I just don't know what I want to do. I'm really excited about getting it done though, so I'd love to continue to work on that this week. We'll see. Okay, so let me get back to my obsession. Did I mention I am obsessed with this? It's even cute in the black and white. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the bottom. I might put my name on it, but I don't know. I know some people feel kind of, this is an actual thing that somebody made in 1856. The things that I am making right now are going to be around for 200 years. Just think about that for a minute. I should probably get something done. Something completed. I have something completed, speaking of which. So let me first kind of give you back history on how this started. So, I just dropped some trash. Obsessed with Bell. So I was like, I have to have this with me at all times. So I didn't have a smaller little bag that wasn't in use. I've been making bigger bags, and I just didn't have enough room in my backpack for that. So I had this little guy, this little snap pouch. You can get yours at the Container Store if you like. And it was just enough size to have a half sheet folded up, because I have this as a download. So when I'm not using my iPad, I can just take the sheet and put it right in there. See how nicely it fits? And just fold up the fabric, and away I go. But I, with all the stuff in there, because I was putting my scissors and my needle bed and the fabric and then the spool of thread, it was a little tight, like your pants after Thanksgiving dinner. So I decided that I would make one, because I've got all the stuffs. I have zippers up to my ears, which I was reminded of when I cleaned up my room, because there was a lot of them and they were all over. I had to do a little organizing. So I made this guy. Yes, I made it. Isn't that cute? So I had this vinyl left over, because I didn't want to throw it away, and I was like, I could probably use it for something. And then I was like, I know what I could do. So I wanted to make it a little bit bigger than this guy, and you can see it is a little bit bigger, more wider than taller. This doesn't, the edges don't really count. That makes more sense to me why I was having a little bit of an issue, because this is all like stitched down so it's not accessible. And I love it. I just used fleece, fusible fleece, kind of as a little sandwich in there, so it's not as stiff. I've been using the foam, the Soft and Stable is what they call it, by Annie, and it makes it a little, obviously kind of stands up on its own, but I wanted it to be a little more flexible, kind of mirroring this a little bit. So I made this, put all my stuff, been carrying it around, love it. And then I thought, well, I could probably make this just a little bit bigger, and then maybe I could give one. I was, you know, making plans and thinking, oh, that would be really fun to do X, Y, and Z, and then put it in a cute little bag that I made. And so I made this out of some of my favorite material. This is an old Anna Maria Horner print that like is literally the last of what I have. Might have a couple more scraps. I love it. It's my favorite. And then the interior, I don't even remember what it is. I think that's something that I stole from my mother. I mean, that my mother gave me. Zippers, really like these zippers. They're nice big handles, and you could put some bling on there if you want to. So in comparison to the first one I made, see if I can get it lined up. It's a little bit taller, but the width is perfect, which is what I was thinking. Like I need just a hair's breadth more space. And then I made this one. Don't you just like this one? Except the pattern is really kind of showing that it's wonky. Here, let me do this. That way you can't see it as much. I don't know whose, this is just stuff in my stash. I don't know who, I don't know what. And so I made these two today, and I have a problem. I want to keep them. I like them so much. They're so cute. Look how cute my bags are. I mean, you can't see. I'm not showing you well. Look how cute. I mean, really. Really. Don't you love this one? So, if you get something in the mail from me in the near future, and these happen to be in here, or one of them, one of the two, just know I really love you, because I don't want to give these away. I want to keep them. The problems. Hashtag problems. Could I make more? Yes. I've got tons of fabric over here, people. I've got 10 feet of fabric in various conditions. Yardage, pre-cuts, things ready for projects. I could make more. I have more fleece. I have plenty of zippers, but I just love these. All right, get it together, Becky. I wanted to make a design board like what I had, like this guy here that my mother made me. And I wanted to make a small one, like a 12 by 12. And these design boards were kind of a brainchild of Lori Holt. And now they're manufactured. Like she has a tutorial that you can make your own, but you can also buy them at the Fat Quarter Shop and probably other various places. It's literally just foam board and some kind of batting, and then a binding and hot glued on there. I have a hot glue gun, but for the life of me I could not find it. I don't know where it is. So I bought a new one. thanks to Amazon. And I made this little guy. I wanted a little 12 by 12. I had extra binding from another project. This is my first attempt, so it's not pretty per se. It's little unevens. And I've got glue threads everywhere. Because hot glue. Hashtag hot glue. But I'm pleased with my first attempt. So I used fusible fleece, which is why you can kind of see the iron marks on there. I left it on too long. You can kind of see. But it again still does the job. So, yeah, so I can put my fabrics and stuffs on it and hold it up. While I was making my original bag for Belle, I decided that I wanted to just have, because this is a little, it's easy to carry, but I just wanted to kind of have some threads ready to go, and I didn't want to make a floss drop situation, and I don't have like one of those cute little thread cards that are like made out of wood or plastic or something. So I made a little felt book, because I was playing with my machine and I wanted to use some of the decorative stitches. So I cut some, what is this? This is felt. It's felt. So I cut some felt and made a little sandwich book, and then on each little edge I used a decorative stitch. I really like that one. And this is, so you can see some of my threads. This is just a zigzag, playing with that. Here's another loopy loop and some stars. And then on the edge, I use this stitch, which is really nice to kind of combine them. So I can use this as a needle book or keep my threads in there. It's a nice, lay it out, and it's a nice little thread bed as well. So that's goes in with my stitching too. And that's kind of all my finished objects. I just sewed, like I said, I just sewed these two, so I'm rather inspired. I might make some more tonight, because I got it all out. As far as haul goes, it's in the mail. I don't have a ton to show you, but I did buy some pins. I don't think I talked about these last time. Inappropriate Quilters, one of my new favorite podcasts that I talked about last week, talked about these because they're flat. These are from the Magic Pins, which I love them. Excuse me, this has thread on it there because I have a needle on it. So this is the other style of Magic Pins, and what's magic about them is that you can iron on them without melting this, because it's more of like I just dropped a pin, more like silicone. I have a pin getter. Do you have one of these? It's magnetic. It's a wand. It extends like magic, and there's also a light. See? Light. So you can see in the dark. I don't know why you'd be sewing in the dark, but sometimes it happens. So if you ever lose a pin, you can just wand that puppy on over and pick it up. That way your cute little doggy doesn't step on it. Always a good thing. Something's flashing outside my window. The light, not a person. Okay, so flathead Magic Pins. I've had the same yellow flower head pins that my mother gave me probably 20 years. And, all right, on Inappropriate Quilters, they said Leslie said she didn't like trying the ones that Rochelle had because the shaft was too thick. It was a 0.7 shaft, millimeter shaft. So I was on Amazon just looking at them, and turns out Amazon has a 0.5, a 0.6, and a 0.7. So if you want the 0.5s, get some. Look how cute that is. So I treated myself and gave myself all new pins, starting fresh. And I accidentally bought the 7s, the 0.7s, and I 100% agree with Leslie. Get the 0.5s. The extra fine tips they just glide into the fabric easier if you're into cottons and such like that. They're a perfectly fine pin. It's if you're doing different kinds of things or you're not sensitive to that, but the extra fine 0.5s are my favorite. Look how fun they are on my magnetic thing. Woo! Okay, enough of that, Becky. So that's kind of the only haul that I have to show you. The rest, I'll have more haul next time. I'll have to compete with Ron, because I'll have haul to show. I think that is all as far as what I plan on working on in the next week. I hope to do more on my quilts. I need to cut my borders for my other... Mia, what do you do? Look, Mia wanted to come visit. Yes, you're so sweet. So I want to continue to work on my quilts. I need to cut the borders for the other pieced quilt that I showed you, that little like 36 by 36 top. And I'd like to do a little more stitching on my denim quilt. I am going to make a catch-all caddy, part of my haul that's in the mail. All right, Mia, all right. And as I was going through some fabric today, I came across this project again that's been kind of staring at me. If you watch Pumpkin Hollow Quilts, she has a mocking basket, which is where she's put whips that she's not working on right now, or she's irritated at or something like that, and they just sit there and mock her, like, you never finished me, you better do something about it, blah blah blah. So this is in a box across from my stitching. I started working on this a long time ago. It could easily be 5 years or more. And it's a pattern by Annie Company, and it's complicated, people. This is a complicated design. And then I did something wrong, and I forget what I did. So it's long enough that I forget what I did, so that's part is fine. But I don't have all the right parts of the pattern to know where I need to go. And since then, this came out in 2014. I don't think I got it on time. I don't think I got it in 2014. I could have. But, oh my God, I really could have. It's come out with a 2.0. Is the moral of the story. So I ordered the newest updated pattern, and I'm going to finish it, people. So whenever that pattern comes in, unfortunately they don't do PDF downloads, so I couldn't do it immediately because I could have had that done too. I digress. So things I'm going to work on. Quilts. Obviously, I'm obsessed with Embell, so I'm going to finish, not finish. There's no way I'll finish by next week. But I will get more progress done on Embell. Do the catch-all caddy and EPP. Part of my haul is some EPP stuff. And as I've been going through some fabrics and things like that, I've been putting more fabrics in my EPP basket for my nutmeg quilt. So I'm excited to get what I need in the mail, hopefully on Friday, and I can get some EPP prepped. And maybe I can be selfish and keep one of these and and put my EPP in it, and then I could take my EPP with me. Ron, do you know what EPP is? EPP, English paper piecing. And English paper piecing is where you wrap the fabric around a template that is paper. And then you hand sew the pieces together in that shape, and then once the whole quilt is done, you take the papers out, and then you sandwich it together. So if you remember those hexies that I showed, I believe I showed them last week. Yeah, I have 100 left to do. Plenty to keep me busy. And I wrote down cut borders because I really need, that's part of doing the quilts. I need to cut the borders of that quilt. Just make a decision already. I'm like, I don't know. Do I make the tan first and then the black? Or do I make the black first and then the tan? I don't know what I want to do. And I don't know how big I want to make it. I just need to make a decision and do it. Because I'll love whatever I do. I'll love it. So, them's the plans, people. And with that, Mia says goodnight. Oh, maybe she just says that to me. She's so lovely. I hope you guys have a great stitching week. I look forward to everyone in my life being healthy and getting good news from doctors. And I hope that Ron gets to join us next week. So until then, keep stitching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.